Hey, how you doing? Dave Fennoy here, and happy Wednesday to you. Boy, have I been busy. I'm usually pretty slammed with auditions, with work, with students, but this is VO Atlanta week, and although none of us are in Atlanta, well, I guess people who live there are, but I've been on some panels, done some discussions, had a couple of workshops, and let's see, one of the panels I got to do with Elaine Clark, Darcy Smith, Randall Ryan on voice acting for video games, and it was just an hour-long panel. I was moderating, and we were discussing how do we take the words off the page? How do we make performances real, believable performances? And frankly, I'm going to say through everything in voiceover work, what you need to ask yourself when you've done that audition is not, hey, does that sound good? But, do I believe the performance? That's what you want to ask. Also, for VO Atlanta, there's a contest going on for people to win some prizes based on their auditions. And I'm one of the judges, and I'm not going to mention anybody's names. As a matter of fact, I couldn't if I wanted to because everything's just numbered, which I think is a good idea. But some of the things I hear that take points off for people that I'm bringing up here with you is because you're in a contest every day when you're auditioning. It's not a contest for a prize. It's a contest for your living. It's a contest to win that job. And you don't want to do things, little things that will make you lose that contest. We're at a point in this business where enough people are auditioning for things that very often they're looking for a reason not to have to listen to that 30 or 60 seconds or those 2 or 3 takes that you're going to send them. So make sure that you understand exactly what this copy is saying. Make sure that you are honest in your read, that you are a person or the character that you're playing is someone who is believable. The 2 things I noticed were people, one, bad sound, not following directions, and doing either way more than they needed to do, which made it unbelievable, or way less, which made you wonder, well, why? Now, a lot of pretty good people, but the difference between pretty good and booked is that solid read that lets the client, the person who's hiring, know that their message is in the right hands. What else is going on there? Oh, I did a workshop on finding your signature voice and eliminating reedy reads. And, I did one of those a while back right here for free. Won't tell you that, but that's one of the things I work with people on is finding out who they really are. You know, it's funny sometimes. We want to get in this business and we listen to the voices that are out there and we don't really realize that we have something special. You have something special just in who you are, your worldview, the way you say the things you say. Oftentimes we're way too busy trying to sound like somebody else that we don't actually find out what we sound like. So I want you to keep that in mind. You have something special. Bring that to the table. You don't need to be a Morgan Freeman or list whoever else, maybe a voice actor that's making a lot of money right now. You need to be you. That's the best thing you can do. And coming up later this week, I'll be doing a workshop on voice acting for video games, one of my favorite things to do. So all that said, let's get into it. Janessa Amore, good evening, Dave, and congratulations on being busy. Why, thank you. It's funny. From time to time, I will say to people, friends of mine, I went, oh, man, I'm so busy. And I realize that it might sound like a complaint, but it's really a report, and I'm really feeling blessed that I am still busy, that I've been doing this for 30 years and continue to. Let's see. Who else has got a question? Yeah, that's right. Come on, bring them on. Sean Burton. Hey, Dave. Hope your evenings are going great. Well, that wasn't a question, but thank you, Sean. I appreciate it. Getting the good evenings out of the way. Stephen. Well, thanks for doing this series, Dave. I'm sure it's appreciated. I hope it is. I hope it is. Comes from the heart. Hey there, Theo. How you doing? Well, let's see who else is here. Oh, Pamela Tansey. How you doing, Pam? Michael Roberts. Good evening, Dave. Now, I love the good evenings. Thank you so much. But it's Ask Dave Fennoy Anything. Got questions about your career, where you are, how you can move it forward, something about your read? Hey, bring it on. In the meantime, by the way, these live on YouTube. If you go to my YouTube channel, Dave Fennoy Voiceover Training, you will find almost all of the Ask Dave Fennoy's Anything. There have been a couple of times where for some reason I didn't record right or didn't upload correctly or something. And if you're interested in training with me, you can visit my website, davefennoy.com. Visit the, click on the Study Voiceover tab. It says Study VO. And book yourself. And for those of you who've never worked with me before, the prices just went up. They did. For those who have worked with me before, get in touch. I'll let you continue at what you've been paying. All right, Miss Veronica Dillard, how you doing? If my VO equipment is producing great sounds and bookings, do I need to upgrade or just chill out before getting new and improved equipment? If it's working for you, don't fix it if it ain't broken. Now, I'm going to say that with a caveat. Perhaps you know that your microphone is a beginner's microphone, a starter microphone, and you might want to upgrade from that Rode NT1 to a TLM 103 or a 416. That would be a good upgrade. You might want to upgrade from that Focusrite preamp to say an Apollo Twin. Those are the kinds of upgrades that make sense. You might want to upgrade if the sound of your room needs some work, or perhaps it doesn't look as good as it might. And when I say that, I'm talking about when you're working with a client and your camera's on, you want to look as professional as you can. So if you're in a booth that's basically your closet, it may not, give quite the right message that you are a professional. You might want to upgrade and have a booth that looks just a little better, or maybe have a way to pull some curtains around in your closet so they're not looking at, oh, what's her wardrobe? Oh, yes, I see she likes pink. All right. What's the best way to approach talent agents? Repeatedly. I don't think that one-off, hey, I just sent them this and I'm waiting to hear back, works that much anymore. A lot of people are knocking on the doors for an agent. So, a couple things I would suggest. If you've been working with a coach who's known in the business, that coach may be willing to write a note for you and introduce you to a particular agent. If you've just gotten a new demo, maybe your coach might want to say, hey, I just helped this person produce this demo. Hope you'll give it a listen. Very often, having somebody like myself or another coach or other person that that agent is representing or that agent knows of is a good way to get at least a listen. But what I said first was repeatedly. Chances are that first time you may get missed. Agents are very busy. It's usually the junior agents that are listening to demos and they pass on the ones that they think are good, but they're not always just looking to bring new people in. So if you have sent it in and you heard something, even if it was negative, or negative meaning they didn't take you on, send them a note back. Say thank you for checking me out, and keep in contact with them. Whoever that person is, if you've booked something, send it. If you've taken a class with somebody, send a little note. Let them know. Keep in touch with them. Keep the notes short. You don't want to do this every day or every week. But from time to time, let them know that you're still there. If you've updated your demo, new demo, send it. You'd be surprised how many times people will begin to respect you, especially if they were on the borderline. I kind of like this person, but we have a couple people in that category, and we don't want to dilute our talent. But if they have some genuine respect for what you do, your timing could possibly be right. I know when I was in radio, there were a number of times I was looking for a job, and it was just that I was persistent, and would keep getting back in touch with a program director, that I got a job. And I have heard of that working. I've been very fortunate with agents in town, but I know that is what works, is staying in touch, letting them know that you're serious about this, that you're in it for the long haul, and that you are continuing to do things even without their help. Another great way, if you have a client that you've been working with, and you're getting paid money, if you can bring that, oh, can you handle this for me? Oh, I only make $30,000-$40,000 a year from this client, but oh, it's so much work to book myself. They'll be happy to bring you on. All right. Dave, is affiliate voiceover gig something new? When you say affiliate voiceover gigs, let me know exactly what you mean by that. Michael A. Martinez, I'm trying to get into animation and video games, but I'm not SAG-AFTRA and not booking currently, just starting out. What can I do to further my chances of achieving my goals? Well, Michael, first of all, I'd say, do you have a demo? Our calling card is our demos. If you haven't been working, you don't have an agent, but you've been studying, you create that demo, and that's what you send around. Now, assuming you don't have an agent, you're just starting out, but now you do have your demo. You've studied, you've worked, you've gotten a really good demo. Start looking through Mandy.com, through LinkedIn, through Google searches of video game developers, video game casting directors, video game writers, and start getting a list of people to send that demo to, or driving them to your website. Send the demo and drive them to your website. And just like any other kind of sales, the more people you can touch, that you reach, the more chance you have of getting good responses. You're only going to get a certain amount, a certain small percentage of the people you reach out to are going to respond. And to help you with that, don't send them a note that says, "Hi, I just did my demo. I want to do voiceover work. Do you have a job for me?" No. Find out a little bit about them, who they are, what they've done, what successes they've had. Let them know you know a little bit about who they are, what they do, in that note. And don't ask for a job, offer your services. And that will work a whole lot better. I don't know what it is when people have their hand out and are begging. Nobody wants to give them money. It was always funny to me when we were working in studios all the time. Whenever I was working and it was lunchtime, "Oh, can we get you lunch?" Now, but if you're not working, nobody's offering you lunch. What's that all about? Evan Richards, does Apollo Twin work on Windows computers or just Macs for now? That's a good question. I do believe they work on Windows. I think they work a little better on Macs, but I do know people that are using them on Windows. Okay, Veronica Dillerian. Also, what was the other program you use outside of Source Connect? Connection Open. Connection Open. And right now it's being used a lot more by the international community than the American community, despite the fact that it's a good old American company. But it's uncompressed sound. I mean, it just sounds so good. Originally designed for musicians to be able to play together from different places on the planet, and it works fantastically for voice actors. I've used it. It is not what Connection Open or Source Connect seems to be right now the industry standard. But I know for myself, I've run into not being able to connect with Source Connect a number of times because they're so busy, because we're all at home and we're all working on the internet. And I've had to go to Connection Open. It saved my butt a few times, and little by little it's growing, and we're going to be hearing more about it over the years. Okay, J. Horse Black. It works with PC, however, not very well. That's a comment on Universal Apollo Twin. And I don't want to get into the war PC versus Mac, but I really feel like Mac is the way to go. And I know a whole bunch of PC people just went, "Oh, Dave, I liked you. You're no good anymore." Hey, John, how you doing? Good to see you, man. Let's see. Theo, what are some things people just getting into the business should be prepared for, but often aren't? I'm going to use the word rejection. You're not really being rejected. You just haven't been chosen, but it feels like rejection. I think a lot of people aren't prepared for how much competition there is, aren't prepared for what it takes to learn to talk when it's somebody else's words. This is really what we're doing in voiceover. We have to take somebody else's words and make them our own. We become, if you're doing commercial and you're that spokesperson, you have to become the company. Your thoughts now have to be about the company, that product, and what you're selling. You're that spokesperson. You have to believe 100%. I don't think most people getting into voiceover realize how many people are knocking on the doors. This used to be a very small group of people doing voiceover, but over the last 20 years, man, has it mushroomed. But by the same token, there's more work now than ever before. Now, with the AIs on the horizon, some of the bottom of that work is going to go away. But people will continue to hire a voice that can connect with the public, with individuals in the public here and here. That's what it's all about. It's connecting with people here and here. All right. Ove Malik. That's a great name. Hey, Dave, I reached out to you a couple of videos ago, the one that was having major technical difficulties. Oh, yeah. About demo producers that were in the $1,500 range, and you said you'd send me a small list via DM, but never did. You know what? And I apologize. And let me write that down. Ove Malik. Demo producers. Now, I'm just going to say this. When you said in the $1,500 range, that's the bottom of the range. I'll look for a couple of those. Most of the people that I would have right off the top of my head are more in the $2,500 range. And those I can give you right now, and they're known by a lot of people. JMC, J. Michael Collins, Chuck Duran, and Jordan Reynolds. And there are a number of others that I'll mention and include. But be careful of going for the $1,500 demo. That's on the low end, and a good demo, when your demo is working for you, when people are, happy to hear it and want to share it with other people. And there's nothing like that, a demo that gets you work. And a demo that's just won't get you work and won't be passed around to anybody and will not garner you an agent. Better to spend another $1,000 to make thousands and thousands more sooner than go too cheap on it. All right, Jimmy, how you doing? This ain't a question, it's an observation. Tried to get into your class on VO Atlanta, sold out. Wound up with a gentleman called Stephen Kennard on learning voice acting for the video game industry. He gave a very detailed and clear insight, particularly from the outside looking in. He's based in the UK. Funny how him and Esdale share the opinion of no music and frill-free demos. Well, actually, Stefan is a friend of mine, and when I was teaching in London, he took my classes. He is a very fine actor, and he's also a very good teacher. And you're right when you said very detailed and clear insight. And I think in England now, my friend Mark S. Dale's idea about unproduced demos, when I say unproduced, lacking in music and production, he has a small following there. But this is a worldwide business, and I think the majority of people are still going to want to hear demos that give you the feeling that this person has been in a video game. Let's think about what demos are. When we talk about commercial demos, what do they have to sound like? Oh, sound like commercials that you've been in. If you're doing narration, sounds like narration that you've done. Animation sounds like animation that you've done. And the things that make it sound like that beyond your doing the voiceover work well are the things that surround it, the music, the production. So I'm not jumping on the no production bandwagon. The bandwagon I will jump on is the not overproduced bandwagon. There have been a lot of demos produced that they're just too crunchy, that the music and effects overwhelm the voice. With the idea, I think that, oh, this is going to sound so much like it's from video games that we're going to be fooled by the fact that the voice is buried in there someplace. So be careful of that. You want your demo to have your voice as the star of the demo, but I'm not ready yet for demos with no production. Okay, we've got another, let's see, comment on Apollo Twin. It's a bit of a nightmare for Windows, assuming you're talking about the Thunderbolt version. I have the Apollo Twin X and couldn't get it to work, but the US Apollo Twin will work fine. Good luck. That's talking about the United UA Apollo Twin. Well, they have a whole family of them. Working with PC or Mac. They work like a charm on Macs. And Sean Burton, hey Dave, I was a part of the amazing VO workshop with Maurice Lamarche. Maurice, another buddy of mine, last week, and I had some career questions for him. And one piece of advice he gave for aspiring voice actors was to start our own projects. I'm sure that's what you meant to say. Meaning learning some animation skills to make our own animation to market ourselves. Just wanted to hear from another great voice actor your opinion on that approach. Thanks much, Dave. I agree with him, and we actually are living in a world, I call it a do-it-yourself world now, where so many careers get started because somebody decided to do it themselves. I'm thinking, oh gosh, why can't I remember her name now? Insecure. Somebody's going to tell me her name. Who, just signed a huge deal with Netflix after she did a little YouTube thing about herself as a 30-year-old black woman with her friends and her career and what she was doing, which moved into an HBO show called Insecure and now has moved into a number of other things. We are living in a world where we don't necessarily have to wait on somebody to give us an opportunity. We can create our own opportunity. You know, if you've got writing ability, or you have friends with writing ability, you have friends who are actors, friends who know how to operate a camera, can animate, you can do your own projects. I have one I'm working on myself right now. More on that at another time. Crystal Lee Brown. I'm just bringing up Crystal because I'm just going to sing your praises. We met Crystal Lee Brown doing our Christmas parties every year, and she was running a service where she would provide help for you and your party. And I think we worked together. She's an actress, and we worked together a little bit on helping her with her voiceover, and she just took off from there. She's now doing video games. She's now doing a lot of on-camera work, and I couldn't be prouder of her. All right. Isabella Tugman, I'd love that demo producer list as well. Thanks, Dave. Okay, well, now I have to add you to the list there, Isabella. So I've got two people. And what I'm going to include are not just the low rent producers, but the high rent producers as well. Once again, I think it's a mistake to just go for price. I understand money can be tight, but if you have to do it again and then pay the higher price anyway, just a thought. Let's see. Ovays. Yes. Ovays Malik. Ovays Malik. Ova? Is it a vase or a vase? Ovays Malik. Okay, I'm not going to continue playing with your name. Michael Roberts, do you produce demos? Would love to work with you. I do produce demos, but I only produce video game demos right now. I think I would be too swamped. Actually, the honest truth is I am not interested in producing other than video game demos at the moment. And I don't foresee that changing. But if we are to work on your video game demo, I really want to get to know you. I want to know what your voice is. I want to know what your personality is, because what I try to do with a demo is not fit you to other things. I want to find things that are you, that work with your voice, with your worldview. Yes, you're playing other characters, but things that are really in your wheelhouse, that will come naturally for you. All right. K.C. Campbell Lewis. Dave Fennoy, I need to host a clubhouse room with you. I'll keep that in mind, K.C. Campbell Lewis. I don't think we've ever met, but hey, one never knows. Marianne Strassner, great as usual, but gotta go. Oh, Marianne, how are you? It's good to see you. Little story about Marianne. Marianne is mature. I'll just put it at that. And she came to me. She had an audition to do some things at World of Warcraft, and they mentioned to her that she was going to have to do efforts. And she had been in a class or a workshop before, so she took a private lesson with me where all we did were efforts. And she ultimately booked the job and did well with it. And as a matter of fact, I heard back from the director that, oh, she spoke so highly of you, and she was so wonderful. Oh. So good to hear from you, Marianne. And Natalie Hitzel, have you ever done any talking toys? You know what? I've never done any talking toys. Wouldn't mind doing any. It just, haven't had many auditions for that. I know several people, Natalie, that do. Most of them are not in LA. Most of them that I know are in San Francisco. And in many ways, having that toy can be kind of the golden handcuffs. Buddy of mine that got trapped, and I say that kind of teasingly, trapped in having to work every day for a couple of years as the voice of a particular toy. So much so, other things he couldn't do. And it almost, it kind of pulled him out of the business for a couple of years other than that. But they were paying him every day, so 6 in one hand, half a dozen in the other. Thank you, Janessa. Issa Rae. And her shows are brilliant. And Crystal, who we talked about a minute ago. Thank you, Dave, and signed with A3. Thanks to you. Oh, miss you and Mo. Right back at you. I know I can't get you to help at the parties anymore, but, you know, we'll find somebody. Besides, who's been having parties? We've been locked down with COVID. Pamela Antoine. Hi, Dave. Good to hear you. Please add me to the list. Oh, boy. Oh, boy, the producer's list. I'm putting you down. Okay. See how I get myself into trouble. And Michael Roberts, are you going to have your summer bashes again? Well, we certainly hope so. It looks like we are coming out of this pandemic bit by bit. I was just watching the news just a little bit before, and the numbers of new cases have gone way, way down. There's still a few little ticks up in a few places where people, for some reason, I don't want to take the vaccine. I'm not doing it. But the more of us get vaccinated, the more we will be able to do lots of the things we used to do. Although, I think much is going to remain the same. I'm not sure we're ever going to go fully back to going off to studios like we once did. I think the idea of having a voiceover career without your own home studio, I think that's going to be gone. I think clients have learned it's easier for them. They don't have to pay another studio. They don't even necessarily have to have everybody coming into a particular office. I think the business world has learned that people can work from home and will work from home. People are upgrading their studios to make sure that they're up to pro level. We have people in the business. Now, I can tell you some of the things to put your studio together and all that, but I'm not the guy that is a studio person. We have a whole set of people now who can help you put your studio together, help you find the right equipment, make suggestions based on your space of what you need to do. Do you need to buy a booth? Can you get away with just curtains or foam or whatever? And what kind of microphone is going to work best for you? And what kind of interface do you need? So forth and so on. We have that kind of help. So we don't have to be an expert in everything. But I think it's going to behoove you to put in your budget your own home studio. And that means, of course, a great connection to the internet. I know a lot of people who've been having problems with their studios and connecting. It's because they're trying to connect via Wi-Fi. Anything that is video or sound, you probably need to be connected Ethernet. Just throwing that out there. But to answer the question, going to have the summer bashes again. Backyard Jazz is what it's called. And we raise money for the Watts Willowbrook Youth Symphony. Hopefully we'll be raising some money for some other causes for youth education. Don't have a date yet. We're kind of watching what's going on with COVID and how we're opening up. The last thing in the world we want to do is go too early and create a massive spreader event. Ovays. I'm definitely interested in getting a killer video game demo done. You're on the top of that list. If it's okay with you, can you tell me what your rates are for Fennoy quality demos? P.S. It's Ovays. Ovays Malik. Ovays Malik. Okay. I'll probably mispronounce it again. Just because, but Ove's my league. Ove's, my demos are 2,500. How I work with them is once I agree to do it. It doesn't mean just because you want me to do it. I'm not saying you in particular, but the overall worldly you. I'm not necessarily just going to agree to do a demo with somebody I don't think is ready to do a demo. But if in fact I do agree, it's $2,500 half down, so $1,250 down. We will work on finding you the right copy. We will rehearse that copy. We will record that copy, and then we will have a demo produced. And I give you however many pieces we do, usually 12 to 14 or so. I will give them to you those individually, and your approximately 90 seconds or a little longer, a little short, it's usually a little longer, demo. And the reason I do that, the individual pieces and the demo, so if there's a particular kind of character, say, oh, we're looking for a bad guy who has a voice that sounds something like this, you can have those listed on your website, and somebody can go to that one individual piece and hear what that sounds like rather than having to spend a whole minute and a half listening through your whole demo, because our attention spans these days are just short, and people are looking for any way they can to spend less time doing everything they're doing. And people find that helps them out. Oh, they're looking for a young hero voice. Oh, there's my young hero voice. Don't remember you having the lady who was the voice of Barbie on? Don't I remember? Yes, you did. You do. Andrea, hey Dave, lost you for a few minutes. I thought I would type this question already, but you were mentioning something about using no music in demo reels. Okay, backing up. A friend of mine that I work with from time to time, he's an English director of video games, Mark S. Dale. He got tired of getting demos that sounded great until the actor came in the studio and then couldn't act. It's not that difficult to get somebody to do a lot of takes and cut it all up and make it sound like they know what they're doing, and then add the right music and effects and the right mix so it sounds like, wow, this guy's really good or this gal's really good. And then somebody hires them and they get in the studio and they can't do it. I've heard this story too many times when I've been on the job, and sometimes replacing that person. Particularly, I went in on one job and they had hired this person to be the lead character in this video game. They loved his voice. The audition was wonderful. Well, he had somebody produce up the audition, or maybe he knew how to produce. Anyway, the audition was produced, but he really didn't have the acting talent. So there's a little bit of a backlash against great sounding video game demos for fear that somebody who wasn't ready will have had this thing put together, and then you waste a bunch of time signing them as an agent or hiring them. Less chance that agent's gonna pull you in and have you read some copy. They're gonna know. But if this person is able to get to your casting people and it sounds good, and maybe you bring him in on something because you just knew he was going to be great. So those are my thoughts, and that's why they're a little hesitant to listen to demos with too much music or production. And Chris Lewis, buddy of mine, their motto is, it's not lying, it's just editing. I love it. And that begs the question, is makeup lying? Is it? Someone, please tell me. Mark M. Smetzler, are you working the Oscars this year? I have worked for the Academy. I have done a number of their shows that aren't broadcast. Uh, they haven't asked me to work the Oscars yet. I would love to do that. That would be a highlight of my career. I've done a number of award shows, some of my most proud work. For 15 years, I was a voice of the NAACP Image Awards. And I've done the American Music Awards, Teen Choice Awards, a bunch of other award shows. The Oscars would be the top of my list. I've done Grammy shows, not the Grammys, but Music Cares, where all the same people that are at the Grammys are having dinner and giving away money to support other musicians to the tunes of millions of dollars. I have done the Grammys Governor Awards, which are basically giving away Grammys that you don't see on television to various people for various things. But to be able to do the actual Grammys, man, that would be fantastic. Let's see. Remember what I said last time? What isn't a lie anyway? Well, there's not things aren't necessary. Everything isn't a lie. William Morgan, Dave, Will Morgan here in New York, and would love to catch up here or on the phone. Well, let's catch up on the phone. And man, I haven't seen you in a long time, Willard. What are you doing? Something crazy and wonderful, I know, because that's what you do. Chris Lewis answering my question. Makeup, a damnable lie. It ain't quite Snapchat filters, but it's up there. Oh, we're getting off track here. We're supposed to be talking voiceover, and maybe, just maybe, it's time to call this a night. I have been working really hard this week because, once again, VO Atlanta. And I'm pretty sure if you were interested, you could still probably get in on some of the goings on there. But people sometimes have commented, well, why should I go to a convention? And the reason to go is to learn things, is to meet people, is to make connections. And I highly recommend VO Atlanta. I had Gerald Griffith on a couple of weeks ago, who began VO Atlanta, and it's a wonderful experience. It really is. Let's see. Sean Burton again. Hey, Sean, I've been working on this little demo for Fiverr. And other social media platforms. I know it's not going to be high studio quality, but is it possible if I can run it by you when it's completed just to get your opinion on the reads? And if so, where can I send it? Thanks again, Dave. Well, you know what? When we do a session, we'll talk about it then. Not a big fan of Fiverr. I'm not going to say I hate it or people shouldn't do it, but I'm just going to share this with you. Most of the people on Fiverr are not going to make that step outside of Fiverr and into a serious career. The people who are paying people on Fiverr for voiceover are people who wouldn't pay for really good work. Sometimes you feel like, oh, well, I'm getting experience. But you're not necessarily getting great experience. The bar is so low on Fiverr that what you may be doing, if you're working a lot there for that little itty-bitty money, and I'm not saying they pay you just $5, but it's less than what you should be paid. Be careful of becoming a Fiverr star because that's not going to translate into a career outside of Fiverr. I'll just put it that way. J. Horace Black, do you like doing live announce? Oh, I love doing live announce. Do the same skill sets apply in preparing, doing live shows? Does one need a demo for this type of VO, or is it more to do with yourself? Well, you know what? I have never done a demo for live. I auditioned. And after I auditioned for the NAACP Image Awards, they just kept coming back to me every year. And then some other things would come up: the Trumpet Awards, the Governor's Ball, the Governor's Awards, the Music Cares, Grammys Music Cares, that I would audition for and get, and then do numerous times. You could put together a demo for that, but let me see, what was the end of that question? Does it need a demo or this type of, or is it more? It has, I think more of those gigs are going to be coming from your auditioning. Now, that said, in the corporate world, they do a lot of, dinners and parties. Well, not in the last year, but most corporations do dinners and parties and get-togethers and conferences where often they need somebody to be the voice of God at their ceremonies. They're giving away awards for their top salesman, for somebody who brought in this, that, or the other, or did some other wonderful thing with that corporation. So a lot of times they're looking for someone, that voice, to introduce the CFO, the CEO, the top salesperson, the secretary of the year, the whatever. So those jobs are out there. And a lot of those jobs, you don't have to go to them. A lot of them, they will send you that script. You do the announce and you send it back, and they're just playing it. So, yeah, you can do that. And yes, you could put together a demo for that. Oh, my buddy Willard Morgan again. Got a lot to fill you in on, and I'll reach out. All the best, willardmorgan.com, when you have a moment. Fantastic. By the way, I did X session with Joe Cipriano today. It was excellent. Jay Horse, clearly at VO Atlanta, and Joe Cipriano, one of the kings of TV promo, doing an X session. And when we were teaching in Normandy together, I had an hour when he was working and I wasn't, and I got to sit in on an X session. Well, it wasn't an X session then, but sit in on a session with him, and it was excellent. You're trying to do promos and you can get to Joe, I highly recommend it. All right, Mr. Malik, what are your thoughts on updating current demos with new jobs booked? I've heard both positive and negative opinions and wanted to know your thoughts. Also, how much is VO Atlanta to attend? I heard it's virtual. It is virtual this year. It was canceled last year because of COVID, and this year it is virtual. And actually, I don't know. I think some of the X sessions are about $197. What the whole ball of wax is, I couldn't tell you. And on your first question there, what are your thoughts on updating current demos with new jobs booked? Well, I actually think it's a good idea. And one of the things you can do is, if you're constantly updating your demo, before too long, all the things that you created that aren't real, suddenly they're filled up with things that are real. It's also a good thing to do if your demo is made up of things that are real. Now you can move newer things to the front, move some things that are older out, because your demo, especially with commercials, isn't just about your voice and your read. It's about how updated are the commercials. One of the things you don't want to have happen is they're playing your demo and you're selling VHS tapes or something, or some technology that's not with us anymore, some products that nobody uses anymore that will date your demo and say, well, how come this person hasn't done a new demo? You're trying to get people to do more than just hear your voice and your read. You're really putting them in a head and heart space that when they're listening to you, they feel like, yes, this is what we want to hear now. Yes, this is the world as it is today. If your material is too dated, it takes them out of the enjoyment of that and the enjoyment of your voice. So, yeah, update. Oh, Jimmy Bancole, VO Atlanta is really cool, just really expensive. You know what? Since I'm working there, I don't know what the cost is. But Jay Horace has just given me a VO Atlanta. There it is, everybody. VOA2020.voatlanta.me. There you go. Okay. I remember hearing your opinion on Fiverr a while back, and from my research, totally agree with you. Haha, thought I'd give it a shot. Yeah, not every open door is the door to where you want to go. I remember years ago, a friend of mine, she was trying to be an actress, and I was doing some announced job at a convention, and she was working the convention as a car model. And while she was there, she got more offers to be a car model. And I remember saying, I'm not sure you want to keep doing that, because if you keep doing that, that's what you're going to keep doing. Be careful where you put your time and energy. If you want to be, and I saw the same thing when I first came to Los Angeles. I supplemented for a few months doing extra work because I had a buddy that worked on one of the shows here in town. And every, couple of weeks or month or so, I could be an extra for $148 a day. I very quickly learned that, and this is before cell phones and whatnot, and I would watch the other extras who every moment they had, they'd be in the room where they held us on the phone calling their extra agent to get extra work for the next day. And I remember my thought was, why would all these people really want to be actors? If you're spending every day chasing down the work you don't really want just to support yourself, but you're not putting the energy into doing what you really want to do, that's what you're going to find. So be careful. Be careful where you put your focus, where you put your energy and your time. To do anything, you're going in a certain direction. Be careful direction you're going in. Let's see. Beatrice Ryan, and Dave's X session was primo. Well, thank you, Beatrice. I highly recommend it for anyone in just about any genre of VO when you get the chance. Thank you, Beatrice. That's very kind of you to say. And that was the finding your signature voice and getting rid of reedy reads. And let's see, Cameron McEwen. Would you reprise your roles should Warcraft become an animated series? I would love to do that. That would be fantastic. I remember when they did the movie Warcraft. And of course, none of the voice actors who were in World of Warcraft were in the movie. They did a whole Hollywood thing. The movie didn't do as well as it could. The images, the animation for the video game World of Warcraft is so good. The actors are so good. The voice actors are so good. They would have had an international hit had they just used us. But they handed the ball off to Hollywood, and Hollywood did their thing, and with limited success. Oh, yeah, that was that. Mark, if you were to do the Oscars, what's your dream spot during the event besides accepting an award, of course? Well, usually the announcer at the Oscars does not accept an award. Just do the whole thing. Just being the voice in this iconic event would be enough. That would be enough. Okay, let's see. Oh, Jay Horace again. VO Atlanta is really great to get access and be able to work with Joe Cipriano, Marilyn Wisner, Dave Walsh, Dave Fennoy for 3 hours for under $300. The wisdom experience gained is worth much more. Thank you for that, Jay. Thank you for that. I completely agree. One of the things I liked best about VO Atlanta when you went, for me, was when I had time, I could go sit in on some of my friends' workshops and X sessions. and to sit in the back of the room and take in their wisdom. And it didn't necessarily even have to be about an area I was interested in. One of the best X sessions I ever sat in on was on narrating for corporate clients. It's not really something that I'm doing, but I thought it was brilliant. How they were teaching how to count words. You know, in my part of voiceover, nobody pays you by the word, but in certain narration, they pay people by the word, and you realize that you're cheating yourself sometimes if you are not. If it's 1923, say the number, and you think it's one word. No, that's 1923. And, you know, maybe it's only a nickel a word, but if you got a lot of dates in there, all that adds up. The kind of information you might not think about. There's always something to learn, always some small little bit of information that might change everything. Let's see. Christopher Lewis, I know a guy started out with in Chicago who's been an extra since Hoffa. That shoot was in 1993. Cautionary tale. Man. And I just bet, his idea wasn't to become an extra. Beatrice, once again, do you get excited and point at the TV when you recognize someone's voice? You know, I've been in this too long. I recognize a lot of people's voice all the time. No, a lot of, oh, hey, that's so-and-so. But I'm not that excited. I know too many people who are on TV that I hear all the time. I don't even get that excited when I hear me. Oh, yeah. Speaking of which, Time Life has a channel, and I'm still doing Time Life stuff. I've been doing stuff for them for years. But wait, there's more. And they have a channel, and one evening I was flipping the dial and came to the Time Life channel, and there I was, and discovered that very often I'm on this Time Life channel doing R&B collections, soul ballads, gospel music. So if you ever flipping through the dial and you happen to see the Time Life channel, click on it. You might hear me. There's some other voices on there too, but it's kind of cute, kind of fun. All right, that's going to wrap things up. I'm going to get some dinner, and then I think I'm going to bed. I'm tired. And a reminder, this will live along with the other Ask Dave Fennoy Anythings on YouTube at Dave Fennoy Voiceover Training. If you're interested in private lessons or want to keep up with where I'll be teaching, you can visit davefennoy.com, click on the Study VO banner, and as a matter of fact, if you sign up, you'll get one of my PDFs on getting rid of ready reads and finding your signature voice. So, all the best, everybody, and I will see you next week. Book something.